It is yours truly, Taz Daddy. I hope everything is good with you. I wanted to do this video, A, because I haven't done a video in a very long time, and B, because I've noticed some things, and I'm not passing judgment on anybody. However, you choose to get to the top of the mountain in life is totally up to you. Personally, I believe that there are only two kinds of people in the world. There are worriers and warriors. Personally, I am a warrior most often. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect. It doesn't mean that I'm great. It doesn't mean that I get everything right. It just means that I have a warrior's mindset, not a warrior's mindset. Now, when I was a kid, my mother, who's a teacher, and thank God she's retiring because the Philadelphia school district is painfully dangerous, um, used to say to me, if you want to know something, look it up. And so, like any good student, before I shot this video, I decided to give myself a refresher course in what each word means. And I'm going to show you right now what I found on the computer. I'm going to read, starting with worry, because that's the word we're dealing with. We're dealing with being a warrior versus being a worrier. And so, the origin of the word worry comes from a Middle English word, worrying, from Old English, wargen, and it means basically to strangle. And I find it very interesting. Another translation means to constrict. Now, when you talk about what a warrior is clinically defined as a person who is skilled in combat or warfare, especially within the context of tribal or clan-based society. Also, it has come to be known as a person who has or shows great vigor, courage, or aggressiveness. Um, See, people think that just because you um, are courageous or aggressive that you don't have fear. No. See, warriors are always afraid, because you don't know what's going to happen in a battle. You don't know what's going to happen when you walk out the door, but you get through the shit anyway. Warriors tend to strangle themselves with fear. It's almost paralyzing because they spend so much time looking at this possibility and that possibility and this possibility that nothing ever gets done. Now, there's two things I know about life. Number one, no matter what you do, you're not going to get out of it alive. You will die. Number two, I have worried about a lot of things in my day. I worried about where I was going to sleep. I worried about if anyone was ever going to love a fat boy. I worried if I was going to be funny enough or articulate enough or good looking enough or entertaining enough or tall enough or strong enough or smart or quick or witty enough. I worried about all of these things. And at the end of the day, I am always looking to get to the next level. And at the end of the day, I've come out just fine. Hell, I've come out better than fine. The odds said that given in the neighborhood that I grew up in, that I was going to get shot or deal drugs or end up in jail. None of those things happened to me. Um, so all that energy that people spent worrying about whether or not that was going to happen to me, here I am. Um, I, as a kid, and to this day, have a huge fear of public speaking. Huge fear of it. Unfortunately, God said I have to speak. Unfortunately, I spend my life and I make my money and my living and I provide for myself and my loved ones through speaking publicly. That's what I do. I coach people. I'm a life coach. I'm an entertainer. I'm on the radio. I do internet radio where I can talk about the things that I can't talk about in the mainstream. I go through anyway one of the darkest periods of my life. My old boss, a good friend of mine named Hurricane Dave Smith. Shout out to you, HD. He said to me, he said, Taz, believe me, I understand that right now you're going through hell, but you have to keep going. And I didn't understand what he was saying, but I do now. And it is one of the things that drives me and it gives me the warrior's mindset as opposed to the warrior's mindset. Um, there are so many people who get stuck in hell that they stay stuck in hell. If you always worry about how you're going to get out of this one situation, you can't function through the other situations that are surrounding your life because whether you realize it or not, there are a million and one situations that are happening all at the same time. If you've ever looked at old movies like Conan the Barbarian or High Noon or things of that nature, you always saw people faced with incredibly bad odds. Conan faced crazy odds, and he would, he'd get down on one knee and he put his hands in dirt and he'd feel, he'd look at the tracks and see what was happening, and then he would size up whoever he had to fight. And then he would fight. If you watch Star Trek The Next Generation, Lieutenant Worf always said, today looks like a good day to die. Does anybody want to die? No. Does that mean you go into situations haphazardly? No, not at all. A warrior has the ability to look at a situation and say, okay, these are the possibilities, but I have to get through this person in order to survive. There's no way around it. That's how you have to tackle life. These are the possibilities. I could lose my job. I could wind up homeless. I could walk out into the middle of the street and get hit by a bus, but I got to get across the street. I got to go to work. I got to speak my mind. I have to do whatever it's going to take in order to get to the next level. Because at the end of the day, when we all face God, we either want to have a life that was filled with excellence and success as opposed to a life that filled with anxiety and prescription medications and heart attacks and strokes because we worried ourselves to death. Bad things happen to everybody. Bad things have happened to me, bad things have happened to you, and I guarantee you more bad things are going to happen to me, more bad things are going to happen to you. That's just the way it goes. Rain falls on the just and the unjust. Now, there are people who don't necessarily like the fact that I'm a big fan of The Secret, but everything in The Secret you can find in the Bible, where The Secret talks about what you resist persist. The Bible says a man's power of life is in the tongue. Life and death is in the tongue. It also says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so shall he be." But yet and still, we look at The Secret and say, "Oh, it's mumbo jumbo." Well, that mumbo jumbo has been around for over 2,000 years. And you can find it in the Bible, you can find it in the Torah, you can find it in the Quran. The problem is you don't want to believe it because your mind is cluttered with worry. So you got so much worry happening that you don't have any fight in you. Get up and fight for what it is that you need to do. It's scary. I am scared every time I have to speak in front of thousands of people, or hundreds of people, or 15 people. But you know what motivates me? The fact that I know that that is what I'm supposed to be doing. One. Number two, that I have had the experience of washing my nuts in a gas station because I didn't have a place to lay my head. And this is going to allow me to keep a roof over my head. Number three, if I don't show you what a warrior is, you may not experience one. I may be that person that creates the catalyst for whatever it is that's great in your life that you're going to do. So I'm doing this as an example to you and as an example to myself of what's possible. Last thing, and I'm out of here. The other day, and I'm going to be honest, my name is Taz. I am a workaholic. I love to work. I work and I work and I work, and I don't even realize I'm working so hard until my body crashes. And so I'm taking notes with myself. But sometimes, even when you know that about yourself, you just have to do what you have to do. Um, on Tuesday, I had gotten to the office, my office where I am now, at around 6 o'clock in the morning, which is not uncommon. About 3 or 4 days out of the week, I'm here at 6 in the morning. And I was doing my office duties that I do. And then I had to do some meetings and some more meetings. And I grabbed some lunch and I had some more meetings and some production to do and some other things I had to knock out. And then I had to come home. I had to answer some fan mail, review my book covers, talk to my editor, and then I had to rest for about 2, maybe 3 hours. And it was a restless rest because when I know I have something to do, my body won't sleep right. And so I had to go and make an appearance. That appearance lasted till about 1:30, which meant I got to bed at around 2:30, which meant that I got to sleep at around 3, but I woke up again at 5:15. Why? Because I had to get up, get out, and go back to the office. And then after I got to the office again at 6, I had to go and speak at a high school about literacy. So I got that done, and I had to come back, and there was a gang of meetings. So over the course of 48 hours, I had about 4 to 5 hours of solid sleep. It's not healthy, but I did not know how I was going to get through it. But I got through it because I had to, and somebody had to get a message, or somebody needed something, or I had to make that appearance because somebody needed to see me. Everything happens for a reason. But instead of worrying about, oh, maybe my body will shut down again, or oh, maybe I'm going to get sick, or oh, maybe I'll get in a car accident on my way to the appearance, or oh, maybe these kids won't like what I have to say, I fought through it. I cleared my mind of all that incessant clutter, and I fought through it. Are you a worrier? Are you a warrior? Make your choice. Either way, it's your life, not mine. I'm just putting it out there. If you want to get at me, you can follow me on Twitter at TazDaddy, TAZZDADDY, or check out my Facebook community at facebook.com/TazDaddyShow. Facebook.com/TazDaddyShow. TAZZDADDYSHOW. And I'll holler at you. Fight bravely. Don't worry yourself to an early grave. Peace.